We did it again, guys. Are we live? Are we live, Tony?
I think we're live.
We're live. What is
Welcome.
up? Oh my God. The Amuse Me fucking podcast is live again. What is today? March 27th. And it's Tuesday. Right? Yeah, it is Tuesday. Crazy.
Tuesday.
What's up?
I don't know.
Matthew.
I really don't know what's up right now.
What's going on? Go ahead and check out the screen. I'm going to flip it so it's like a mirror image, so that everyone else can like read and see what we're seeing, and it's exactly what's going on there. Welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast. If nobody remembers, Matthew was episode 8. He was on the podcast, and he is actually my longest running podcast.
I feel welcomed.
We talked forever.
I feel really welcomed.
We're not even finished yet. Hold on.
Damn.
Matthew. Just kidding. Thanks for coming, man. So, how you doing? What's been going on?
I don't know.
I mean, should we talk about what's going on right now on
I mean, work?
besides work?
Nexus, I guess.
That's always,
I mean, I'm binging JoJo's Bizarre Adventure right now.
that's cool. I like that show.
That's good.
Is that's it? That's all you got for me
That's
right
all
now?
I have. I can't form complete sentences.
We just started.
I know.
Jesus.
And that's how I know it's going to be fun.
Just kidding.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Let's start talking about well, since it's on the topic of coming up, religion. What about Easter Sunday? It's coming up. It's this Sunday. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about people that walk millions of miles, not saying it's a million, but over-exaggerate to represent the struggle of them walking through the desert? How do you feel about that?
My favorite thing about Easter is actually the hard-boiled eggs, because hard-boiled eggs are pretty good.
Well, obviously
I don't
the food
feel
and
like
chocolate, but
yes, the food's good. I don't feel like a pilgrimage is necessary in modern age. Like, it used to be a thing to do the pilgrimage, but a pilgrimage is the same if you take a car anyways. You're not going to get any more spiritual benefit for making your body wear out. I mean, it's probably just going to get endorphins to make you feel a fake high.
so that high that they're feeling is not really their spiritual thing. Their spiritual high is they would probably feel like, oh, I can feel the Lord surging through me as I go through the walk, kind of in that aspect.
I didn't know we were joining a cult, but
Either or.
yeah, I would say that's more endorphins. Like when I was in one of my religion classes, the teacher used to talk about how the African religions, they'd run their hearts out and get exhausted and stuff while hunting,
Yeah.
and like that would have given runners high eventually. Everyone will get it to an extent, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, it is. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain more of it too, because
Do you run?
not as much as I should. Let's put it that way.
I don't run, if you can't tell.
No, dude, you look super fit.
I don't run.
You look fit as hell. I like your shirt though. I keep looking at it.
Oh, it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Where everyone comes to play.
Since 18 what? Does it say 18? Yeah, 18.
Yeah, 1889. It was a card company back then.
Oh yeah.
And it slowly transitioned into board games, and then it slowly into video games in the 1980s.
What was the first, like, I guess, what was the card game? What was it?
I honestly should know this, but I don't remember.
It's not like Pokemon, right?
No. Pokemon was made in 1996 by Game Freak. Well, it started developed in 1990 by Satoshi Tajiri, and by Game Freak.
Yeah.
Because it's technically a second party to Nintendo is the first party developer.
Oh, okay. It's just weird to think about too. It's like what that card game actually was, and this is yours, and this is mine. Thank you. Anyways, it's so weird to think about how long of a history Nintendo has. I mean, they've been around forever, and yet they're still like. I love to debate this with you, but you still feel like they're like the leading in gaming industry.
I don't think they're really in the gaming industry anymore.
What do you feel like they?
I feel like they've entered somewhere that really hasn't been touched now with the Switch.
What do you mean?
Like, it's in between a tablet, but in between a console. But in a way, it still is enough room for their handheld to thrive. I know many people have speculated that, but I don't know if it's like, it's not hardcore gaming.
But
It's
isn't
something.
that transition to okay, just kind of
You're probably right.
brushing off of it, but isn't it transitioning into the like its own hardcore console, like the handheld?
Oh, I'm sure there's something.
But
It's its own middle. It's a middleman right now. I wouldn't say anything's for quite a while. I would still say they are the most creative of the companies. Sony and Microsoft just try to outdo each other in processing power.
what was that new reveal that they had? The whole box thing with cardboard?
Labo.
Labo. Oh my god, how do you feel about that? That's gonna be weird. Is that like
I would love it, but I would probably break it.
so? How do you feel like these parts are gonna be like? Is it gonna be like
It's gonna be cardboard, dude. It's not.
Yeah, but like, can your everyday consumer just get it?
You pulled the cards up, Tony.
There they are. What is it called? Look up the hit. What is it called? That's all it says. Playing cards trademark. The Nintendo playing card. That's not it. That's like a newer one. I don't know. That it's probably like I say they're probably like different cards, like decks of cards and stuff, and that looks too new. That's not. What the hell? Never mind. Damn it, Tony. What are you doing?
I'm cold.
How are you cold?
I don't know. I'm cold.
I'm just kidding. It's pretty cold in here. It's cold in the studio, guys. It's freezing. Oh my god! And the funny thing is, you can hear that too. It's like, zzz, zzz, zzz. Yeah. There's actually a live studio audience. Not really live, but you get what I mean.
Tony, let's get you a laugh track.
It's going off right now, but you just can't
Hear it.
Yeah, but they are. They're going crazy for you right now. The zipper thing is just thriving.
Just like life.
No, obviously not. Well, I don't know.
Life will survive. Somehow. We'll have a hard time destroying life, because even if you launched every nuke, something probably would survive, and it'd probably come back even stronger than before, because that seems to be what life does. It just doesn't go away easy.
I mean, that's the whole concept of like you can't destroy the cockroach, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, but I feel like we'd probably get the cockroach with the nuclear winter, but probably not like certain bacteria and stuff at the bottom of the ocean.
okay.
They'll find their way back out, and then this crap will happen again, and they'll probably do the same thing to themselves.
You think it would be okay? I guess that's kind of a weird example, but when they redo it, say civilization did end like that and had to restart, would it be a faster process or would it be the same process?
I don't think we have a model for that. I really don't think we have a model. I mean, it might be a faster process because they've endured more now, but it's hard to say because it would still take quite a long time for man to reach, or like sentient intelligence to reach that point. To think you would probably... We've only existed for at most 200,000 years, so if, say, they would, out of 4.6 billion years of life, they would catch that likely. It probably would be a little bit faster, but not incredibly. It just matters how long the conditions last and what conditions have been caused by it.
So I guess you could say their development of whatever Earth is left is what's going to help them thrive.
Yeah, well, think of it this way. We've had 5 mass extinctions before us. To say that we're still alive shows you how tenacious just living in general is. Because most people will fight till the end.
I guess.
But most animals will too.
I guess.
You don't see that at all?
Not with suicide.
I mean, in general.
Well, obviously, I get what you're saying as a human being, like, you know.
It's a small percentage.
So where in that aspect do you think they see their aspect in life? Like, that it's not thriving or that they don't really matter in it, I mean, that's another kind of stupid question. Why they wouldn't want to excel in this life for whatever reason. Obviously,
Well,
they might not think.
It's not that they don't want to excel. It's quite the contrary. It's more that you have to compete to excel. If you get outthought, you're screwed.
No. Because at that point, that's when you're actually making it a competition and you're making yourself feel like you have to compete.
No, that's the principle of evolution.
No,
is that mistakes cause mutation.
Well, you're making it into the whole aspect of like, obviously that's how we grow up to be competitive. I'm talking to more of like a social aspect.
Oh, you're talking about humans.
Yes.
Oh, I'm still talking about animals.
Well, whatever you want to go with, obviously we're still that animal, but we have that smarter sociology of it to be able to think in that aspect.
Yeah, well, I think if humans survive, they likely would find a way around it. They'd probably struggle and struggle and struggle and never recover the population until who knows how long, but they'd probably struggle around it. They know how to keep themselves alive pretty well. I mean, we've had ice ages before. The only thing would be the radiation, but we're trying to build machines that absorb radiation now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure after a while, too, our evolutionary pattern or path will be not resistant to it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's people that are already more resistant to radioactivity because there's people who are resistant to chemo and there's people resistant to X-rays.
Yeah. So I guess it just depends on the actual scenario. If and when it does happen. Yes. Matthew.
Yes.
We really need to stop indulging in after-school activities before this.
Sure.
I know, right? I'm just kidding. Hopefully they know what I'm talking about, but I don't think they do. Maybe.
Kit Kat bars are good.
Dude. They're okay.
That's what I got out of that. Kit Kat bars are good, but I haven't had one in so long.
How is that going?
It's going. I just want a Kit Kat bar now.
Well, I guess
I can't have one.
you're going to have to wait.
I will wait. Just like I waited for Lucky Charms.
There you go. See? And imagine that. How was that? Lucky Charms.
I got the chocolate ones.
Ew, that's even worse.
No, they're good.
That sounds weird.
I don't care. They're good.
I don't even.
Do you want to come over and try some?
No.
Come over and try some.
I'll just buy it.
You can't. They were the St. Patrick's Day edition. I still have some, though.
Well, then I'll wait and order them on Craigslist.
Come over and try some.
Sure, why not? I'll try the little crumbs left. Because obviously you like them.
No, I have a whole box.
So then you just bought them and just tried them one time.
Well, no, I ate the whole box when I did a cycle through, and then we have an extra. I bought 2 boxes, so yeah, you can have some.
Cool. We'll see then. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Why are you always trying to get me out of my house?
Because we want to hang out with you, Angel.
Well, I mean, you guys can come over too. I'm not saying my house is amazing, but I mean, the comfort of home, I guess.
Do you just not want the cereal, Angel? You could just say you really don't like the cereal.
Well, I'm kind of leaning towards a nicer way of saying chocolate is weird with Lucky Charms.
I love it. It's so sugary.
That sounds really weird. And then there's marshmallows with it as well.
Yeah, but they're not real marshmallows. They're not as sweet. They're like, I don't know. I forget the ingredient they're made out of.
It's like some weird, like, high fucking...
It's
like mostly
corn
like,
syrup, I'm sure.
Like a weird dehydrated fucking piece of sugar cube. But even more.
Yeah, I don't remember what they are, so.
It's gross. That's all I care about. Anyways, I don't know. So, where are we at? Episode 22. Have you, you haven't been keeping up.
I've seen a bit of him.
Have you seen all the guests?
No.
I've been getting kind of mild compliments because I get hot chicks.
Oh, Angel.
Thank you. Angel.
Angel.
Well, first of all, let me tell you, we're just indulging in a conversation. Oh, God. Matthew.
I'm just messing around.
Let me just go ahead and unzip it. I mean, I wouldn't have had you back on if I don't think you were interesting.
I just can't form complete sentences.
No, that's not the case, Matthew.
Not right now.
No, we could start talking about other things, like let's talk about the infrastructure of the Nexus.
Why?
Well, don't you want to talk about it?
Yeah, but that's for you, not for everyone else.
Well, the world needs to know that they can join this cool Facebook group.
They could join the Facebook group, but the infrastructure, they don't care about. I've tried talking about it. No one cares.
Well, all they need to know is like you're the man. I kind of answer to you, and it all goes from there. Yeah,
I think so.
that just made it sound cool.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not bragging, but it kind of does seem that way. With the way that some of them just like, oh no, we need to know what Matthew's thinking. I'm just like, wow, you can't come up with the thought yourself. You can't think of the idea yourself.
I don't know. They're usually pretty cool to me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like they come to
that
you.
That is what you're saying.
That exactly. I think it's cool. This feels like this.
Well, what's fun about it is the people you meet, and you don't let people. The group likes to fight. Let's be honest. Everything about that Facebook group is argue, 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 fight, 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 argue, 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 and they love it. And then they pretend like they don't, but that's why they, in a civil conversation, a lot of them will start trying to bait each other.
No, God. Just, they want the fight.
Yes.
It's drama nowadays. Don't you love it?
I mean, usually they solve it themselves. It just, yeah.
But again, there's one of those scenarios where they are in that bicker, and then all of a sudden they're like...
Everyone's always in a bicker.
Like, we didn't know.
We're too self-conscious. That's what humans are. A constant bicker with themselves. Do they like me? Do they not like me? How do they feel about it? It's that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, that's how you perceive it. I mean, obviously everyone kind of has that mentality, but it's do they show it? That's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are just like, I don't really care what you think of me, but wholeheartedly deep down, they really do.
Oh, the people who put porn up in the group. Got it.
There you go. Right.
I probably could go through like the Blacklist and find some ridiculous fucking porn.
Not even that. There's a lot of stupid shit on the Blacklist.
If you don't know what the Blacklist is, you're one of the lucky ones.
You didn't make it.
You didn't make it on the Blacklist. Don't make it on the Blacklist.
That's weird too, to think that like we had to have that list on there just to like let people know like don't do this because this is an example of people that are doing this.
Well, it wasn't my idea.
Still, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it was Emmanuel's idea, and it worked out really well. That's how we just keep track. It works perfect.
No way. That's so crazy, Matt.
I really like the blue.
It's awesome. It's an LED inside. It's also universally listening to us.
It's trying to Did you hear that how bad that was though?
What?
Facebook. So I guess Apple has an encrypted mic on the iPhone and all the Apple devices. So it didn't get like the Apple users like data from their speech with each other, but it got the Android users data. But the Android was actually able to tell when you were with certain people and it was trying to learn about you. It was like networking, like it was able to interject itself.
So is that whole concept is like when it hears you, that's when the stupid advertising pops up and shit like that?
Yeah, but so it wasn't actually happening with Apple phones. Because they, again, encrypted their mic. It was actually Android. Apple wouldn't turn over the data, but since Android's an open and... Was it a... I forget the word, but it basically... It's open source. There we go.
Okay.
Since it's open source, it would just... You were able to take it as long as you knew how. If you agreed to it. That's why they're having so much trouble, because now then there's Cambridge Analytica, who also... use that data, and they use it against them. So people are going to start demanding data rights and data response. We do have a problem with data. We're using it to incriminate ourselves. So the problem is that most people, without even knowing it, have committed a cyber crime over stupid stuff or what is perceived to be a cyber crime.
Like, to give an example.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to say those vague little things where they're just like typing like empty threats, stuff like that, or are you talking more of actually drug trafficking?
It can be a lot of different things, but those could constitute, and if there is involved intention.
Okay.
So the thing is that there's no physical way for a lot of these people to reach each other. They're disconnected. They have to agree to meet each other. To delete, and why I say Facebook, and Google's a big offender too. People probably delete stuff after a certain time mark. I say, because they'll incriminate everything. Say for someone who just did an illegal download and Facebook knows you did the illegal download, is it really that worthy for the thousands upon thousands of people who've done it? It's probably millions actually on that.
So then you think Facebook would actually have that data to use as for?
Yeah, it uses as it pleases. If you really wanted to,
I mean, can it incriminate itself at that point? I mean, usually it just has.
Well, that's the blurry lines, because we're in a problem where everyone somehow look at what teenagers are doing on Facebook.
Porn.
Yeah, they're self-sending porn to each other. That's illegal.
Yeah, I see.
That's illegal. That's incriminating. What, are you going to arrest every teen on the goddamn planet, or at least 90% of them?
Right.
It's a problem. The thing is that it's a double standard. To delete it would be to say, well, we lose our revenue from what we know about you, but we also keep your privacy. So now that Zuckerberg has to testify to Congress, it's more of a they're going to demand policy.
Yeah.
People are mad. You want your data used out? So I actually can teach people how to delete their data on Facebook pretty well. It's pretty simple.
Join the Nexus, people. Anyways, Michael, if you're listening, I know you're listening. Turn down your damn phone. I could hear it on the mic. Please, thank you. Welcome.
Hi, Michael.
Anyways, so continue. If deleting this data would be ideal,
it's a statute of limitations. That's all that is. Because it would be ideal, because then it's a fresh start for a ton of people. I think the problem is that Facebook is even going back.
That's what I'm scared of, is that they would go back to a farther date of like, oh, well, this crime was done 2 years ago.
Yeah, so that's the big example. That's the statute of limitations. So where does it draw? So it should delete the data, because then incrimination isn't possible. Or a vague incrimination, you also have to realize this is over the internet. You don't know how they're acting, because you can't see any other form of emote. How you will react to that, or how you feel, if they seem confident, if they seem on edge. If you go with that, Facebook is very, very viable. If we go with a counterbalance to that, it would probably do better. Like I said, Mark Zuckerberg has to testify in front of the U.S. Congress because of all the problems, and now it's connected to the U.S. election. That's the thing. Everything's connected. People don't get that. So it's going to always move through society.
So this is going to be a hot topic to go with the next candidacy.
Oh, it's been trending for the last 3 days for a reason. Oh, it'll be more than the candidacy. It's affecting our everyday lives.
So it's something right now that Trump has to address.
Okay, let's put it this way. Well, it would be wise, but he shouldn't have to address it. The owner of the company shouldn't have addressed it. He created a very powerful tool. That's why you hear the saying, with great responsibility or great power comes
great responsibility.
Exactly. Spider-Man.
Right. There you go. There you go, people. That's where the quote comes from. Obviously, you guys know.
I'll stop fucking with your set. Oh.
It's okay.
Okay.
This guy, man. This guy. We started off with one thing. We moved to a new studio, and it got worse.
That's about right with me.
Yeah. I just feel that, like, again, this data that is being, I don't see how long has this data been culminated for? Like,
quite a while. That's the problem. If you have a Facebook account from 2005, it memorizes it perfectly.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way.
Well, I can see that too, especially with your stupid reminders every day. Like, hey, look at your memories from 5 years ago. You're looking at it. You're just like, oh, yeah, look at all this cute stuff.
Snapchat does it too.
Really?
Snapchat holds memory.
Well,
that's why there was the snapping.
Yeah, and they have the thing now too. The features like save your snap in your memories, but they also, already have the picture.
It's in their hard drive.
Yeah, that you took.
See, so
does like
how many people's nudes are just stuck there?
Oh.
See, do you see the potential if someone gets a hold of that? It's revenge. It's dangerous.
It's hilarious too, because there's a lot of what I like to call Patreon whores, what are doing is like making tier lists of where they can have access to their Snapchat at a certain level, and they'll be like, oh yeah, you can have my Snapchat, and then I'll take nudes or implied nudes of myself, send them to you for a one-time thing, because you're going to be the only one to see that. But obviously in another fucking...
I bet I could be a Patreon. I mean...
Oh, dude.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Dude, you just like will totally...
Patreon whore.
Don't you like that term?
Patreon whore.
I love that term. I'm going to coin that term.
Patreon whore.
It's bad.
Patreon whore.
How do you feel about that? The fact that they have a tier list that starts with, oh,
people are going to follow the sex. It's been from the earliest of civilization. What do people follow? Let people do whatever the fuck they want with their goddamn bodies. Leave them alone. If it's not something so hardcore that's going to wreck the general public, like extreme drugs, just leave them alone.
What if it ruins people financially? So they get so addicted to buying these implied nudes and stuff off of this Patreon person that it ruins their family. They're just like...
The thing is the argument is we let religions do that already.
Well, I mean...
Mega churches, and it's the same thing.
It's a moral thing at that point. That's what I'm seeing it as. Well, it's like, are you really going to be...
If you look at the base, it's the same kind of scam, though. Like, I can send you this blessing from God. Like, for only $9.99. And then I can bless this prayer cloth of mountains to keep you strong. I can cure your cancer. It's the same kind of thing. It's a one-time thing. They're personalized with it.
Snapchat's got it in.
Yeah, it's... Like I said, this memory needs to be deleted because people's privacy is at risk. If you have a whole population's privacy at risk, you have a major risk because that is a lot of power.
And that makes me, like, it's kind of upsetting, too, to see, like, people that have sent, like, Snapchats of, like, drugs and, like, really bad, like, guns and, like, the most illegal stuff that I've ever seen.
Well, okay. Facebook does delete data. I'm not going to be wrong about that. But say the only way it's going to happen, say I took out my phone and I was messaging you.
Okay.
And I deleted the chat log with Facebook. Well, if I delete that chat log, guess what? You still have a copy. One.
Okay.
But Facebook still has a copy. But if we both delete the chat log, Facebook finds the chat obsolete and sends it through delete.
So, like, if they don't need it.
Yeah, you would cooperate with your friends to do it. They don't need it. Because no one can pull it up.
So, it would have to be like if me and you sent a message to each other, I would have to delete it.
And I would have to delete it.
And then for, I don't know, a period of time, they would
delete. It's a chaining method.
Okay.
They want humans to chain to delete it. But it's still so much data.
I could see what you're saying.
It's dangerous data. If that gets into the hands of someone who knows how to use it, and someone who, you see, like, they should only be allowed to keep it for a certain amount of time. And that's where they advertise.
You know what's scary too to think about is like people, really scientific, smart, intelligent scientists communicating on Facebook with like really important technology, really important advancements in what's going on now, but yet they have to keep it a secret. They think it's still a secret. You get what I'm saying?
I don't think Facebook analyzes that way.
You don't think so?
No, they can't. It's way too big. You need to have keywords, logistics, algorithms. You would never get that far. So, like, you would have to individually target. And the problem with individually targeting like that, it's illegal because that is intellectual property. So basically, me talking to you, they can't say take that conversation and make it a script. Unless there's a historical event and likely we're both dead. And we have consent to it. That's the thing. Our conversations do hold things like that.
That's weird. That is weird. It's hard to imagine too. Like, again, they can take back. Like,
yeah, and they won't target because if they target, that's when you're seen as doing something sketchy, like a single person target.
Well,
like if you do a wide group or a demographic, it's not scary. But if you do a single person, you are in trouble.
So an example then, if like a professor from UNM is studying some kind of biochemistry, sending information back and forth from somebody in, I don't know, Arizona State University, and they're distributing information back and forth that's really critical to something that's an advancement in the human technology,
Have a feature.
That's it.
Archive. Have a feature. Archive it. That's how you store it.
It's not anything that would be like, oh well.
Let them mark what they want to store. It's not broken that way. I mean, if they know the risk of it being deleted, there's probably something more credulous to it.
It's so weird. Makes me just like uneasy of Zuckerberg, but then again, it's Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg was only trying to make money. That's all he cared about.
So do you think it just grew out of his control at this point?
To an extent, it's some of it with the Cambridge Analytica thing. It's like Hitler using the radio. Yeah, how many people did the radio get in trouble for that broadcasting?
Tons.
No.
Really?
No, not at all. Or like
So wait, the radio broadcasting whatever the message was.
It's not anything different than Donald Trump using Twitter.
Okay, I can see what you're saying.
It's freedom of speech. They're not going to block it. Stop thinking they should block it because they're not going to. It's how it works, because every time you block freedom of speech, it comes back harder.
Yeah, that's when you get offended and stuff by it. That's when people are like, oh, obviously what I'm saying is causing some kind of effect. And it keeps happening. It's
Hegel principle. Or Hegel theory. Everything's an extreme. It's like a pendulum swinging. You only balance out because you've seen both extremes.
Okay.
When you see both extremes, you get... This is why you get social justice warriors, and then on the other side, you have patriotic justice warriors, which are the same kind of bullshit. But they don't either want to admit it. See, we all fall in that category somewhere because we do all rebel against some form of establishment.
And that's only because we're tired of what's happening?
Yeah, to an extent, and we jump on our first thing instead of looking at both sides.
Like, I mean, if we're jumping to the first problem or just the solution of it?
Either or. Both sides still have it. No solution's perfect.
So it's that aspect of that pendulum where, like, either whatever the good side of it's going to be or...
Maybe just think that it's always going to create an equal and opposite reaction that doesn't change.
Will the equal or opposite reaction be as severe as the other reaction?
Generally.
It will?
Generally. Why do you think they're not calling out patriotic justice warriors? Even though they exist, and they have existed, it's because they saw the left first. That's why they will call out the alt-right, but won't call out the alt-left. It's the same BS. Different times. We went from a very balanced time to a very unbalanced time. To expect to say that people aren't equal to each other in normal mannerism, and that meritocracy is only a shimmer, is to say that there's nothing earned, but there's nothing given. You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's the problem. And so
I love how that's like everyone's saying that does happen. You know, they do.
Well, there's double standards everywhere. There's always double standards. Yes, to limit the white voice is happening to equal out with the black voice or to equal out with another voice, but there's still privilege in each voice, a different kind of privilege, a different kind of necessity to say that to say it doesn't exist would be completely blind to the fact or purposely putting on shaders or for the money. That's what people do it for. Those are your only three options with that.
I don't know, man. That's weird. That in itself is weird. Facebook, delete your shit. I don't want to get caught up in something.
You'll be caught up in a ton on hell.
Totally
what are those pictures you've been sending?
Right, those implied nudes. Dude, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you've seen the selfie threads. I mean, it just gets even worse after that.
Okay, on hell.
Yes, sir, Matthew. I mean, don't get me started with your whole, let me just start a whole bulge and cleavage thread.
I did that off request the first time.
That's hilarious. That shit makes me laugh.
And it just turned out to be popular, so we kept up.
It is. It's popular. I can't believe it. I laugh, too, because I'm so amazed of how many people are willing to fucking put their bulge on there. I mean, I understand the whole cleavage thing. That's another thing. Was it true that the United States passed a law that women do not have to have their breasts covered up? Look that up.
I don't know if that's true, actually.
I'm pretty sure I just saw that, but I'm not sure.
Tony, look it up.
He's got it. He's looking it up.
I'm proud of Tony.
Would you be able to think like that is something suitable? I mean, who cares, right?
Why do people fucking care? That's half this problem. They care about things they shouldn't. Why do you care what someone else puts in their fucking body? Why do you care what someone else does to a connection in their body?
Why do you care if somebody shows their body?
See, I can see the thing is well, guess what? Yes, there is kids, but I think part of the problem is we keep censoring children. We censor children so badly that they grow up with a different perspective, and it hits them harder.
So do you think it ends up messing with their...
Oh, yeah. Go look at the generations before the millennials and how badly they were censored. It's not good. It's just, you go back at that TV and you're just like, oh, it wasn't okay to talk about this.
Well, don't you see that now? Like, it's so...
Oh, there's other things that we're doing now because it keeps changing and shifting. But it's the whole reason. After the... Politics in the United States used to be heavily talked about. But after World War II, we decided to play Zip It. What does it say?
Go down a little more. Go down.
Mostly false. Fuck.
I hate everything.
So I can't go out without a bra.
The injunction on an ordinance banning females topless in Fort Collins, Colorado. Of course, they would want to do it in Colorado. Wow.
Well, they say cold makes them stiff. So.
Wow. Right? They're just like, I need to cut glass.
Frosted tips.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Frosty tips.
And then obviously they're just gonna. Ban girls and women other than 9 from exposing their breast in public unless there were breastfeeding. Ooh, that's the only way you can see boobies nowadays, guys. Well, besides,
why would you want to see breastfeeding?
Because it's natural and it's beautiful.
No. But why would you want to stare while it's breastfeeding? They're taking your shot.
Well, not in like. Oh my God. Right?
I led you right into that.
They're like totally like, you wish you were here.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You're funnier than I am.
I'm not funny.
And
I'm just hyper.
And I'm over here trying to be a stand-up comedian.
I'm not trying to be a stand-up comedian.
That's what I'm making. That's the joke. See, that's why I suck. Give me some fucking.
It's probably because I happily wasn't paying attention, but
I feel like that's gonna happen when I go up on stage. I'm gonna try to say a joke and no one's gonna get it, and they're just gonna be like, "Oh yeah." I don't know. I'm gonna do it though.
That sounds scary.
Why? What?
I don't know.
Open mic? You can do it. Let's go do open mic, Matt.
No.
Yeah.
I can't sing.
We'll indulge in extracurricular activities before.
I can't even form sentences now.
What's it called? You did pretty good at that karaoke, remember? You did karaoke.
That was so bad.
Karaoke. I like karaoke.
I did so bad.
No, you didn't. It was pretty cool.
Don't believe him. He's being nice because he's my friend.
Those are just fan arts. Don't start judging on all my...
I wasn't going to judge. I liked that one.
There's some of them, though, that you really judge, and I'm just like, wow, why are you even saying anything? It's cool. You're like, but that's not realistic. Nobody would ever do anything like that. That's Matthew, people.
Angel,
that's Matthew.
Angel, you know I'm straightforward with you.
Unfortunately, yeah, no, that's why I like you. Like,
it pisses a lot of people off. I piss a lot of people off for some reason.
You're like the kind of person that people just don't want to hear it. That's what it is.
And then I do it again.
But that's what I don't get is there's like those people that can accept the truth from certain people, but they just can't accept it from you. Like I don't know what it is. Like I feel like when you totally tell them the truth, they're just like, I'm not going to hear this from this guy, but if they heard it from somebody else.
Well, what's the answer for you? How long did it take you to warm up to me? You probably hated me the first year you knew me.
But that's different. That's way different. I had influences from different people as well to like stray towards like talking to you more and stuff. Not like my first encounter and then like.
Yeah, but if that wasn't there, you would have never got to know me.
Probably. I probably would never have gotten to know you. Like I would.
But the thing is, you somehow got intertwined with the bullshit.
That's true. I mean,
no one can escape it half the time with me.
It's just weird. It's just that weird connection of life.
I got tipped sunscreen at work. I thought maybe you should know that.
That's gross.
It wasn't open.
That's gross.
It wasn't open.
They're just literally like, hey, you need this because it looks like you're burning. You have some really red skin.
I do.
Well, that's, I mean. And
it's because I sunburn when I walk outside. I'm a vampire.
And it was raining today. What? Well, it was raining today. I don't know if you went outside.
I did. And then I went to Red Lobster, too.
Oh, yeah. Nice. How was that?
It was good.
I like seafood, but not in a certain extent.
Do you not like lobster on home?
I do. But it has to be like really battered in butter and lemon.
I'm sure that can happen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
I just dunk it in myself.
I had mushrooms that were stuffed with lobster and shrimp.
There you go, people. That's how a champion eats. I'm gonna give everyone's gonna applaud for that. Yeah.
Can I play with it?
No, you cannot play.
Why can I not play with it?
Because this is for the control room panel only. And there's only a few settings on here that we can use.
Okay. I have a new toy now too, and I'm not gonna let you play with it.
Oh my god.
And yeah, I know you're already gonna be jealous of it.
I don't even want to know what it is.
Michael, just laugh now because you do know what it is.
What?
I'm not gonna tell you.
What?
Nope.
Well, now I don't even want to know what it is.
Oh, you'll want to know.
Well, I'll wait till after. I'll wait till tomorrow. Don't talk to me anymore. I think we're done. Let's play rapid fire. Just kidding.
Go right ahead.
What do you want to talk about? What is something on your mind?
The data thing.
Do you think it's still weird that they're doing that here in New Mexico? That whole Facebook thing? That they brought an actual center here?
Not really. There's a lot of room. Cheap land. They probably give them huge tax breaks.
And is that just a bunch of... Do you think that's where a lot of... Well, they put a lot of data there too?
There's 55 jobs made. That's what it is. 55 permanent jobs. That's all that is.
I don't get what the whole purpose of it is there too. Like it's just
to store data.
Yeah,
the stuff I'm telling them not to store.
But like again, like wouldn't it just be? Can it just be manned by like 10 to 15 people? Why does it have to have a whole facility?
Oh, on how?
I'm confused.
On how? There's no way 10 to 15 people can manage that whole company. There has to be points of sale. There has to be infrastructure.
25 people then. I'm just kidding. Okay, I get what you're saying. It's a big company.
And someone has to maintain the server. The thing is they could be using those servers to be doing something else instead of data maintenance. It's like, you don't need that much data on anyone. They know your fetishes.
Dude, not only that, they have facial recognition.
Yeah.
You can take a picture of us together as a selfie and just post it and they'll be like, is this Angel Lopez? That's scary.
Who's Oh, Angel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I disconnected there.
No, it's okay. But you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's scary. What if it's in an aspect where we go to a con and we take a selfie with like 14 other people.
And it catches them.
Yeah, and we don't even know that.
It's dangerous. That's what they're saying now. It needs policy. He's like, oh, I'll accept policy. Well, the problem is you've already stored this much information. Either the users get to choose what information they get to keep as the time limit's up, or you let it go. It all goes. It's too much. It's a company that probably has more information. Probably the only things bigger stored information are governments. It has that much information. Same with Google. They have that much information. Only a government has more. That's scary.
That is.
They have power. How bad is it if, say, tomorrow someone just sent you your nude that you sent to a girl over Snapchat and said, you have to do this or it's released?
You would...
It's just an example because I know you would probably just say, well, whatever. I guess people have seen my dick, but...
I get what you're saying, though. There are those people that are going to struggle.
Going to be scared.
Yeah, and they're not going to...
It's like that episode of Black Mirror.
Or like there's politicians that could get blackmailed like that just because
and
they want to change
That's very scary.
Just change their different policies and stuff like that.
Same with email. And they've done it with email over and over. We should have been learning back then, but instead we took too long to act.
That's so crazy.
We need to do something with data. Data doesn't forget. Memory fades. Data does not.
But even if we do delete it, do you think somebody would find it eventually in life?
If you delete it a practical way, they won't.
No.
They can, when they delete a disk, they can delete it right over it 5 times, degauss it over and over. It won't have the same information, or they could even pour acid on it if they had to. It should not be out of their hands, and it should not be individualized. If it becomes individualized, it becomes dangerous. It's different from, say, you said maybe you somehow commit a crime towards me on social media. I would have to be the one to turn that in. It shouldn't be Facebook. And that's the thing, is that's what people are worried, because if you have that much data and power, what stops them from creating their own police state?
That's crazy too, to think like, oh, look, we got the Facebook police that monitors all of your guys' activity, and then we inform your local police department of what's going on in your neighborhood.
Well, that's why Snapchat's such a brilliant idea. But they still took the data. They didn't just let it go. They didn't bury it. They didn't do... It's just there.
It's just mind-blowing to me.
It's a bothersome subject.
Because I could... that's so fucking weird.
They know everything about you. They know every email sent, every cache. Like, it takes Google 6 weeks to... And this is the problem. It shouldn't take a company 6 weeks to delete a profile.
It should be done almost instantaneously.
You should also be able to buy the rights to your information.
That is
why are companies able to buy your rights, but when I go onto Facebook's point of purchase, I, with my credit card, can't afford me because they have cut it into a micro dosage that's lower than a penny.
Do you think it might be in the actual like terms and agreements where they?
Yeah,
that's where.
But they'll probably make that illegal, because what stops? And if they open that up, what stops you from buying? Say you hate a senator, what stops you from buying and putting it there?
Exactly, yeah.
And it's a problem. Well, if you can open their messages and you find something wrong, you whistleblow. Well, that was a secret for the government. A secret for the government is not something that should be out.
That's weird.
What if that's detrimental information?
So, I guess it's incriminating to both parties, right?
No matter what it is. Because one is still a breach of privacy.
Yeah. That's, again...
It's bothersome. It's bad. It knows everything. It also even IDs your computers. It IDs your equipment. It IDs where you are. So my phone in my pocket knows that I'm next to your phone in your pocket.
Yeah, the location.
And see, if one of us has an Android, or a phone with the open source software with an unencrypted mic, it's listening and it's learning to us. And that's why Facebook is probably floating questions to an extent. I was talking to Michael the other day. Facebook got in trouble recently for floating a question, basically asking, are you okay with kiddie porn? And Facebook basically was like, they floated that question. Where did they get the information? It's likely people are somewhat talking about the standards for it currently now, because that's starting to brew.
And your example is when those stupid Facebook things come up and they ask your questions, like, what do you like? And like, they're stupid questions to find out more about you. That's actually going into a deeper route where it's the Android, I guess you want to say, that's listening to you, giving them the information to ask you those questions.
And they can link it. It's all algorithms and logistics. It's not, they can't individually target. They have to have a computer saying, okay, we think this person will take it or this person will take it.
Okay.
Like, for example, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually Facebook suggests me to add Tony on Facebook if he has one, because we're close to each other right now.
Yeah. He does, but he hasn't logged on to it for like how many years?
Too long.
Stay away from it.
Yeah.
He can't anymore because he forgot his login information.
It's old.
And see, that Facebook needs to take care of that. If they're going to make a policy on one user profile, and I know a lot about Facebook. I've read every term and condition.
I know you have. We've talked about this, man.
It stresses me.
Go ahead.
But if...
Deleting his profile
and then linking it from that email is something he wants, legally he should be able to go into Facebook and say, I want this gone.
But see, that's a
purchase. They shouldn't be able to verify. They shouldn't be able to do anything. They should delete it. It's because it's a purchase of privacy.
So where does the verification thing come into place then?
Because they're always going to do it. They say they want one profile per user, but then you see people with 18 profiles. It's not surprising. Or you see businesses with thousands of them. And Facebook doesn't know which ones are which. Facebook isn't as good as people think. Facebook goes back to relativity. So every time Facebook updates its algorithm, though, it will scan every flagged log it has. So, for example, say I'm flagged for 6 months. It's going to scan all the way down my profile. It doesn't take long for Facebook servers to do that because they're home to the information. But they'll start doing that and that and that, and they'll catch old mistakes. But you wouldn't have the problem to catch old mistakes if, guess what? You delete your data, because people act in the etiquette that is appropriate for the time.
So again, whatever was in the past is obviously in the past. Because
if you go, there's things that are never appropriate. Murder, stealing, that kind of stuff. But it's towards the time. People act towards their time.
Exactly.
So what was seen acceptable back then, or a Wild West culture, it's like saying they arrested all the prostitutes after a city becomes a town becomes a city, would be a better example. There's no point anymore. There's no point. It's out of control. You have to stop the ball from rolling now before it gets out of hand. Look, they're using the data to influence everything. And now we know it. It's a weapon. It's a weapon. We have weaponized our data. The Russians have done it already. The Chinese have tried. We're probably doing it. These companies are masters of it.
Yeah, they're literally getting you to buy what they want when they want.
Just your algorithm. Just what we're on now. You can influence partially the algorithm. People are teaching the algorithm, but Facebook doesn't care. Each of us contribute to the algorithm.
With whatever we post. Whatever we say.
Yep, each of us do.
Okay.
So that's why an algorithm's so hard to stop. People say, well, there shouldn't be an algorithm. Well, you might be right, but then you have to have manpower. The problem with having manpower, though, is it's money.
And then you've already created the algorithm to learn off of itself. Well, off of the people that are using it.
Yeah, and it's already gone. It's long gone. People don't know what the algorithm is. It's like YouTube. YouTube has lost control of its algorithm.
That's crazy.
They can only tweak it a little bit.
That's crazy.
And then people are saying YouTube has to fix this. YouTube has to fix this. YouTube can't fix it. YouTube has to get rid of it and start from square one. But the problem with starting from square one again, anyone can get back to where they need to be because now they know how to manipulate it.
Oh, okay. I remember.
So, but if you're able to manipulate it, well, you're able to take control. People know these patterns and trends. People watch them. They might even not even know, but they might figure them out.
I love that too, that concept, because the aspect of the clickbait didn't even come out until 2013.
There's older kinds of clickbait.
Yeah.
Like what Michael was saying last night, we're watching a lot of Kitchen Nightmares, and Gordon Ramsay has clickbait in his intros that came out in 2008.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you won't. It's more like an acting. Well, I don't believe this or something, and walks out. But
and then all of a sudden, it doesn't end up being like that dramatic or something.
I don't know. I'll just stay for him to say it's rotten.
Oh, you're right.
It's raw. Rotten.
It's straight raw. It's fucking raw.
This is fucking rotten. I'm sorry.
That's so weird in itself to think about, that technology in itself is just
control. The point is, it's time to conserve it. We will over-conserve it at first. There's no doubt about that. But you conserve to liberate to progress. That's how all human history's worked.
So do you think in that aspect, when they conserve it, they're just waiting for it to be released again when we actually do know more of the actual control of it, or be able to regulate it?
Well, we still have a chance. That's the thing. The world isn't screwed. Is people want to believe things matter. Everything is affecting us at a level that it never has before, because a drop in a bucket, we're a giant ocean. It's going to ripple eternally. It's going to hit and hit and hit. Each a concatenary wave. Some people are only single issue people, so they don't.
In that aspect, though, does it really affect the whole ocean?
Yes, especially with that, because if you're connected, people in general have power in different aspects. So say you're affecting your business that sells to Nigeria, or it's a web. It's a web that keeps touching each other. Facebook knows this. Facebook has data on every single person, probably most people on the planet.
I think Facebook has more information now, and it's so scary to think about too, especially the way they introduce sending money and shit like that. They have more information about bank accounts now. They have more information about social security numbers.
But see, that's the kind of thing you can use those data centers for. We live in a time where simplicity should be becoming more an option without the actual duplicity of the fear. Terrorism is working. That's why you're afraid. People are afraid of people coming in. That's why people are easily able to shout one or the other.
Or they're easily to back up something that's naive.
Like I was saying to members of Nexus today, people still are afraid. There's different models. It's a reality. Like, we grew up in schools actually fearing guns, but when I'm talking to the Australians, they just made fun of it because they knew they weren't going to get shot.
That's crazy to think about.
But to
too.
think every lockdown, yeah, you knew when some of the drills were, you didn't know another, but they scared the living shit out of you because you actually didn't know if you had to fight to be a genuine person there.
But yet, in another country,
it's
not
funny.
It's not even
it's not an issue
close to what they would even expect to happen in their school.
Exactly.
Or in their society.
Well,
even.
here's what. I remember my 6th grade teacher right after the Virginia Tech shooting to say, oh, well, maybe let's rush them so at least some of us survive. Do you see that mentality? That's the kind of mentality we grew up compared to them. We shouldn't have to feel that way within our home. There's other reasons. I'm not saying what's the solution. I'm saying there's the problem.
Like, that exact mentality is the problem.
We want to fix... We like treating symptoms. We don't like treating the disease.
And even then, though, it's not even treating them. It's just diagnosing them at that point, I feel. Like, you're just literally pointing out what is going on, but that's all that's getting done.
Every issue goes farther. Every issue goes farther.
Like?
Everything. Say healthcare, you have...
Or the way that you were explaining the whole candidate, like, the whole...
So basically, say the Facebook thing. Well, now it's a negative for Facebook. Facebook was the biggest advertising platform. Will there be a bubble bust because they can't advertise as effectively anymore?
Is it going to help whoever's running that year?
Exactly.
It's push?
So many... It goes into so many facets.
Will they get bought out by another company to, like, well, I don't know. That's just weird to think about in itself, because do you think, is it really that, like, is it a competition base now if you think about the way Twitter and Facebook have their own separate platforms?
Yeah. That's all that is.
But it's I don't want to say it's two of the exact same things, but it pretty much is.
It is.
Is it just the same aspect of, like, what do you like better, Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
In a way, I would say Facebook is far more advanced, though.
Okay.
Facebook got on the stage early. They saw their success of MySpace, and they saw what was good about MySpace and improved a lot of it, but kept simple features so it didn't become cluttered and full of troubling things.
Then the only thing I'm confused about is why people say that Twitter is more open and it's easier and it's better.
It is easier.
And it's better.
Well, it's better for a different advertisement block, but if you're a company and you're trying to advertise to millions, who has more users? Facebook.
Okay.
If you're a company or if you're a person and you're able to broadcast yourself, what's easier, messaging multiple people at once or a single person on Twitter?
Okay, here's an example then. So, say Verizon wants to buy some advertising space in any of these platforms. They're going to more likely try their hardest to get onto Facebook.
Yeah, they'll do it, no problem. Verizon, though, is special. I love how you brought up Verizon. Verizon has a platform, an advertising platform called Oath, that looks at analytics to find people. So they use data. So since I know data, I can find data on anything. If you have any form of data, information is power. So when they use Oath to say they scan analytics, and I know it's farther than that.
Yeah.
They're going to jump on one thing. Facebook is going to be, in that way, Facebook, since it has more users, it has more viewing capability. The more viewing capability it has, the more it's able to resonate with people. Yes, it's easier to shout something on Twitter. It's easier to target on Facebook.
So I guess you're trying to say is, like, on Twitter it's more, like, personalized.
No, Facebook it's more personalized.
But, like, in the aspect of that person trying to promote himself.
Okay, say you're looking for someone who wants to buy Overwatch gear.
Okay.
Facebook has a profile of everything Overwatch. Twitter does too, but the thing is, it knows who's likely going to buy and who likely won't from past ad revenues. So what Facebook does is it says pick. They know every little detail because the system's more complex. You like things. You tell them what you like. You do it to an extent with Facebook that you do. And it probably picks up words in Messenger too.
So me liking a meme related to Overwatch is them saying he would probably buy an Overwatch.
If they can identify it.
Right.
If they can identify it. And if they can identify and sell it.
Obviously, they are, especially when they have individual groups made for certain markets. Like, oh, look you got the Overwatch meme. You got the Overwatch.
They're pumping a lot of money into groups right now.
That's crazy.
They think it's their next form of advertisement platform. See, in Facebook, you have multiple platforms. You have pages to represent yourself. You have groups to talk to your audiences. You have your personal. Yeah. You have your. Now all chats are room chats. You have representation in Facebook now. Facebook is creating their own group-wide government kind of thing. See, and that's why people get scared is because organization becomes very efficient. The more organized you are, the more power you have. Because to say, get them to do this, get them to do that, oh, guess what? It's done more. As well as even having personal... People have found ways around that with Facebook. Facebook is too big to regulate. They could either break up, which is a bad idea probably because of how many applications they own, and that's how they'd have to split. It would probably fall into a bad bracket because it would lose control of a single head. What I mean by that is that if Facebook split up, it wouldn't be effective with communicating.
Are you talking about the other platforms that it has on it?
Yeah.
Like kind of like Instagram and stuff like that?
Well, no. So say like Pages is an application within Facebook. You're using applications within Facebook.
Okay.
So a group is an application. So basically it's a browser on top of a browser in a way.
Okay.
It's just a more restricted browser. So to cut off that head that is Facebook would be a bad idea. So the platform says what's freer and what's immense. Would it have to be co-optively owned? Would that be a good idea? It's hard to say. It's become too big for its bridges. Twitter is very direct, but you're also limited on Twitter. You're limited in words. You're limited in impression size. I mean, you can just tweet 30,000 times, but...
How effective is that?
Exactly. Or is it more that... You can say you have all these applications to pull from. So you have the groups application that tells you the analytics of the group. It knows everything about every one of its members, where it's at, where they're located, what they're doing, which their signal, if their signals don't match with their location.
I'm pretty sure they could even hone in on like how strong their certain Wi-Fi capability. How many times they...
Oh, I believe that.
Dude.
That's the problem with the algorithm, though, is that it identifies... It takes away your privacy. Because if you try to create an account with a VPN on Facebook, want to know what happens?
Tell me.
You lock out. You lock out immediately.
It just says you can't create it?
It'll do the verification immediately.
Okay.
So why? Why can't I have my privacy and use your application? I get you're selling things, but you can also use me to sell to them. It's the idea of how a country, like China is a good example right now. China is a trade market. Well, the United States is a consumer market. China needs to become a consumer market in order to sustain. So say Facebook is a consumer and trade market like the United States, and a consumer market's bigger than a trade market. The consumer will also be able to purchase things. There's more you can purchase on Facebook, and it should be left to that desire. What you want to purchase to build your tools should be allowed on Facebook. Like I'm saying, Facebook is even including groups in their actual decision process now. You won't get in very easy, but once you're in, you're in.
And I can see that too, because just what you post in the group obviously gives flack of like what everyone is thinking or believing in at that point.
So to explain that, there's a calculation called karma on Facebook.
Okay.
It looks for certain key words, how negatively or positively you basically do. But it's only in the API. You can't see it. I can't see it. Only something that can read it can. And that's more of something that's just you need access to the group. For example, when I scan Nexus, I can see Karma.
Yeah.
And it's only because I have a Graph API. It's nothing I can see personally. It's something Facebook doesn't reveal to me, but it's able to calculate, or at least fairly close to Facebook's calculation.
Yeah. It's okay. There's a lot to take in.
Facebook also doesn't have its own way of verifying accuracy. So any form of hand ballot they're seeing built. So it's very rare to cross 50,000 members of a Facebook group. So Facebook decided the few million of them that have, if even it is, I think it's actually under 1 million, that, okay, let's invite them, give them a share of the pie. That means you get to a little bit of the decision making. Facebook understands that. So it would be, are they supposed to hold them responsible, or are they only supposed to hold them responsible for the app they're using? And the only one they're doing that for is groups. Who holds that responsible? Is that representation for all groups?
Does that just mean, again, when the groups start, I don't know, getting more of the representation of what Facebook is giving them, how much more of the decisions of what Facebook changes are due to the group?
Let's get this straight. Facebook has free advertisement at all points. They can advertise to me or you, anyone, whatever they want, and they know it. It matters. They control the money,
and that's why corporations try to buy that advertising space.
Exactly. Facebook is very genuine in the fact that, yes, it sells you as the product. And we've known that since Facebook's become popular. But as you start seeing analytics and things change, you see a pickup in it. People don't understand there's recognition in some of it. Facebook sees a build-up. So when they see something build up, they get very hopeful, but they only keep it on the back burner. But that means they have a ton of apps. And those apps can't be owned independently because they're developed by them. And if you lose that, you lose another thing. Or you have to open source Facebook. The problem with open sourcing Facebook is, what are we going to find?
Just a bunch of nicks and crannies?
Well, we'll find a shit ton of nicks and crannies. That's for sure. Hackers will find that. I mean, they'll be patching that like crazy. No. As in, what tools are we going to find that they were using? Because guess what? We are people that are very curious, and we will like to try these tools because we're wondering why they use this and what advantage it has. Because if you have the same weapon, say you have 2 pistols pointed at each other's head, it's who draws faster at that point.
Okay. And that's just not something.
If you have access to that tool too, you have the same power as them.
Well, see, that obviously that's something they don't want to happen.
Exactly. And that's restrictive information. So, yeah, they can do partial open sourcing, some of their apps and features, but then again, since they've owned it for so long, people have been advocating the breakup of these big tech companies. To go that long is to say maybe that if we did do that, it would basically open up more of Pandora's box. As in, now that you have that feature, what makes you from tweaking it to make it to your liking to do it again without being caught? Or only do it partially on a small scale to get started? To build its infrastructure. It's a browser within a browser.
At that point, it's trying to be more of like...
It's farther. It's too far advanced. It's probably one of the most advanced websites on
the internet.
That probably Google as well. Well, Google stayed same simplistic pretty well. It's added apps and features, but Google's main function is still there. Facebook's just added function after function. They broke up all their functions into different applications. Each group you use is a different application.
Even not even the groups, just the simple different stuff that you can do on there, even selling and trading.
Yeah.
Even the whole...
Facebook has made it possible to make basic application on Facebook.
Right. I think you could even start to develop little games on there as well too.
Oh yeah, if you have the developer's kit.
Yeah.
But that's also another thing. They've had that since day one, yet it's still in that It's still in that is that who has power with it. Look at the company CrowdStar. CrowdStar was one of the earliest to Facebook. It's was Zynga's biggest rival for a long time. What they did is they basically made a very popular game. They made very popular games, cashed out, and ran, which doesn't seem right. But they were already gone way too late. There's no laws regulating this. They're going to get away with that. They basically left all their customers with unworking paid-for games. So, you see, it's that kind of thing. You don't cash out and leave without moving your audience. But unfortunately, Facebook allows that.
That's so crazy.
It's Facebook has a Wild West still. They've tried organizing it. They have buildings and they basically have buildings, police stations, fire departments, but they have no order to organize it.
They're all still...
It's all privatized.
Yeah, whenever they want to feel like they can do the job.
If they want to work 9 to 5, they can work 9 to 5.
If they want to.
If they want to.
That's the whole key word there. It's crazy. Crazy. Matthew.
Yes.
I see you're feeling better.
I'm still...
No, I'm just kidding.
It's just we got something easy for me.
That was fun. I mean, that's so crazy to think about. I mean, I don't want to start talking about it again because, again, it just pisses me off to know that...
You're getting fucked over?
Yeah, and our information is still there from stuff that
and the
makes
thing is,
no matter.
They're still applying it to him because they know his device IDs and stuff. It's not just Facebook.
Yeah.
Don't get that. It's these companies, or Samsung is selling this data to someone. It's just like saying with Apple, well, Apple didn't sell the data. That's all that is. The encryption is.
Yeah.
Say Samsung, Android, all these little companies, they're selling data. That's... If they sold it in a packet as a demographic, that's different. But if they sell personal data, which they have because Cambridge Analytica had that, that's when people get mad. It will be demanded to change.
See, and that's what I don't think people understand is like they see it more as like they're just gaining information on us so we know what better to buy. We know what better there is out there for us.
Well, the thing is, the tool's manipulative as well.
Like? I'm confused.
So... If Facebook didn't want to show you the news, did they have to show you the news?
I guess they could show you what they want to news.
Exactly.
What news they want to show you.
It can be propagandized. Who's watching that? Thankfully, Facebook isn't terrible with it. I know a lot of conservatives will argue me with that.
There is a lot of stuff that's crazy on there.
But Facebook actually just does trends to the news, which means what's trending in your area. It's not more like it's going to be... It's not they're blocking the unpopular opinion. It's that the unpopular opinion doesn't make it there. Okay. They haven't gone that far yet. Facebook could have their own service for the news. I guarantee that would probably work because there's enough people viewing in.
Yeah, and literally they can have their own page, their own channel that works as
free
Facebook
advertisement.
News.
And we would probably watch it just as easy.
Yeah, and all it would be just scrolling down, seeing one key story that interests you, and you would watch it, and it could be millions of stories that go on. They can be talking about so many things across so many platforms, so many different aspects of whatever.
And see, that's the thing, what they're worried of, and it's going to happen, Facebook celebrities are going to rise. And they're already slowly starting to. I mean, look, SoFlo literally got famous for just reposting videos because they weren't on YouTube, and Facebook's a little loose with copyright. And it's harder to report to Facebook that problem to take it down without a legal cease and desist. You would need a real legal team to do that, like a powerful corporate one. It became difficult to go against YouTube. So Facebook's competing with one YouTube. They've tried to compete with Snapchat. They're already outdoing Twitter in some form. I mean, there is ways. Like, there was a proposal I know a while back to do announcements that drop kind of like an airdrop in Apple. And that kind of worked, but other than that, they hold it. They hold the record. They have WhatsApp and Instagram as well, also full of data, also using the same tools, but also gathering stuff from other areas of the world, what others are talking about, what issues make Facebook look good, what selfish causes Facebook. because Facebook only thinks of itself.
And that's crazy to think about too, is like they have that capability of like when you have the share feature on Instagram is like, do I want to share this on Facebook? Do I want to share this on Twitter? Where do I want to share it at? When you do share it, that's literally, no matter what, if you did share it on Facebook or not, they still have the data from that pic.
Well, something a lot of people actually don't know is you used to, and you might still be able to if you still have it linked, you used to be able to tweet and it would show up on Facebook.
It does.
It still does?
Yeah.
Okay. So why that's important is that if how many users, and this was Facebook's way of robbing some of Twitter's data. So you tweet, it shows up on Facebook. Well, guess what? You just see you just build another web to analyze this data.
I wonder if you can still do that. I'm not sure if you can still do that.
But you remember that, right?
I do remember that because I remember somebody always doing that. They were really big on
I don't think
Twitter.
you can. I think they became more separate. Especially that Twitter lost its main video platform out of bad decisions. I mean, Twitter had a better chance at one time. Getting rid of Vine probably wasn't too smart. I don't believe it went bankrupt or anything, so...
It just was a dumb idea.
But it had more... It had analytics, too.
Okay. And obviously, I mean, there was a ton of people fucking using that.
Yeah.
So, just another instance of them losing out on a big opportunity that Facebook took over.
Took over, exactly. And Facebook... I don't know why Facebook just doesn't merge Instagram in anymore. I really don't. I mean, all Instagram is a copy of the photo album in Facebook. They already track and interlace data between Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. When you post it, it just automatically goes to a folder on Facebook known as Instagram.
Yeah. I don't get why they just don't merge it in. I mean, they have the application. They own 100% of it. They have their own video players. They have their own... They're holding on for whatever they need to build into.
You think something big?
Whatever opportunity they want.
It's weird. Matthew.
Yes.
We've been here for quite a while.
Fair enough.
Are you ready to do our segment?
Sure.
Do you remember what it is?
Rapid fire.
Yeah, there you go. Have you listened to a couple of the other answers from the podcast?
Yes.
How do you feel you're going to do?
I don't know.
All right. Well, people, this is rapid fire. You guys know what happens. We have 25 questions. They're not even questions, they're just words that I have on this piece of paper.
I already read the first one.
Obviously, everyone knows the first one. Just so everyone gets a little refresher on how it works. I'm going to say the word, and I want you to say the first thing that pops in your head. It does not have to be a word. It could be a phrase. So, for example, I say bottle. You can say water, or you can say I don't like. You get what I'm saying?
I get
the
yeah,
concept?
I get it.
Because no one really gets. I'm still getting people to say more than just a word. I feel like they can say something. Like if they say pizza, they could say more of like something else. But obviously, that's their mentality when they play this game. So this is rapid fire, folks. 25 words.
Go.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Might as well be.
25 words. This is rapid fire. Let's do this. Pizza.
Tosto.
Island.
Archipelago.
Music.
Shame.
Cartoon.
Shit posting.
Black.
White.
Trippy.
Scared.
Fast.
The Flash.
Animal.
Cheetah.
Spicy.
Ninja.
Maze.
Maze Runner.
Army.
Military.
Drugs.
War.
Air.
Water.
Pendulum.
Hegel.
Native American.
Native American.
Scar.
Cut.
School.
School days.
Magic.
Fights.
Computer.
Robotics.
Superhero.
Superman.
Comedy.
Central.
Bleach.
Maybe.
Fame. Ham water.
Ice cream.
Amuse me.
I don't trust you.
Oh my god. Thank you very much, Matthew. That was rapid fire. Obviously you heard what rapid fire is. You know it's gonna happen. Make a consolation video, and it's gonna be funny. I don't know when I'm gonna stop this season though. There's still I have a lot to do. I still have like 7 guests. So
How do you replace the LEDs in that?
you don't.
Oh, that sucks.
You send it in and then just give you a new one.
That's nice of them.
Yeah. Dude, these have lifetime warranties.
Don't scare me on hell.
Shout out to MXL. Give me a fucking endorsement deal. Matthew, thanks for coming.
All right.
We got to do this again, right?
Eventually.
We will. Obviously, you had some fun.
We need more time.
Bitching about Facebook. Bitching about their data. Fucking shit. Tony, cue us out. Thanks again, guys, for joining. This was the Immune Me podcast. Make sure to look us up. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All that good stuff.
I can hear clearly again.
Also on Twitch. We'll see you later. Bye.